Hello and welcome to another How Lou Sees It review. Today I am reviewing another Gamewright game. This one is called Pyramix. It is for 2 to 4 players and it takes about 15 minutes to play. It recommends ages 8 and up. And I'll go ahead and just kind of start off. I have played this actually with my 2-year-old daughter. She calls it the triangle game, and she actually really likes it. And the concept of the game is simple enough that she can play it. She can't really at that age get the strategy of it, but she still really loves playing it, and we can help her out a little bit, but she really likes the cubes and playing with it, just as building the pyramid and taking it down, just playing it as like blocks too. So I just wanted to mention that. But if you open it up, the box is kind of interesting packaging. It's kind of cool. There is one thing I wish they would have done. If you'll notice, they have this little plastic thing that's glued to the inside of the box, which is cool. It holds these in place, and then to keep the box flat for shipping, they've done it that way, where you have these 10 blocks or 10 cubes that have to sit in the side. Well, it's not a tight enough fit that they stay in place, and they really just as an improvement maybe for future versions, since they've already made this little plastic insert, they just needed to continue that insert up into these corners and have a cutout for these rows here to hold them in place. It's not a large issue that I have with it, but it is kind of annoying that it's all held in place, and then you turn it, sideways, and then you just hear these cubes fall out. But that's about all I'm gonna say about that packaging. You pull out the game. Again, you'll have these 2 rows. You have the instructions, which also is folded into a triangle. The instructions are great. They have, again, this game is very simple, easy concepts. So it has little diagrams as well. And you'll notice it just is those 3 panels folded out. And it explains the game really well. The instructions are really well done. The folding like a triangle is cool for the theme. It's not the I mean, and they fold up really well and easily into there too. It's just sometimes it makes it a little bit harder to read, I guess, but cool, sticking with the theme there. So basically on this game, what you do is you're going to randomly mix up all these cubes, and on your turn, all you have to do is you remove 1 cube and you pass it on to the next player. There are a few stipulations or requirements for removing a cube. The first one is that it must have 2 or more faces of the cube showing. For example, this whole row has at least 2 sides showing. If I were to remove that one on top, these 3 corner ones here now have 3 faces showing and are still be able to be removed. I cannot remove, however, this purple unk because there's only 1 face showing. The other requirement, we'll go ahead and show you what are the cubes made up of. Well, they're made up of 4 different colors, and they are you'll have green, blue, and a orange and a purple. And on the different cubes, the picture shown is shown on all 6 sides, so it's no different. What's shown here is shown on all the other faces. You'll notice that there are 3 different symbols on the colored die. You'll see ankhs represented here. You'll see birds or cranes, and then you will also see one cube in each color that is shaped like or the symbol of the eye. Okay, so there are 8 onks, a total of 8 onks in each color, 4 cranes in each color, and only 1 eye in each color. And the goal of the game is to end the game with the most points. The onks are worth 1 point, the cranes are worth 2, and the eyes are worth 3 points. That's the makeup. You'll also notice that there are a few cobras. There are 4 of them. You can only see 2 here and 2 on the other side. And those are worth 0 points. But they are also show us our other requirement. So usually you can take any cube with 2 or more faces showing, but I cannot take any cube that is adjacent or orthogonal here, adjacent to the cobra. So I cannot remove this green onk. I cannot remove this orange or green eye. Okay, and the player with the most triangular shaped nose goes first, and you just take turns removing the cubes. Now you'll notice the pyramid and the cubes, the orientation and setup of them will change according to how people take their cubes. If I want to take this orange crane, for example, the cubes are going to slide down into place there. And then I would pass the pyramid to the next player. I do kind of wish also that the little triangle had a little turntable, but it's easily turns that it's no issue there. But what the strategy really gets into is that, obviously you want to get the most points. So maybe on my first turn I would rather take this eye, for example, 3 points, instead of taking multiple turns to obtain only, take 1 point, 1 turn. The way that this game brilliantly adds strategy, other than the fact that you have to really kind of think out, what if I take this cube, how is it going to change the layout of the pyramid itself, or what is it going to reveal when I do that? At the end of the game, if we take a bunch of these cubes off, you will continue gameplay until there is only this lower base remaining. Okay, pretend like you didn't see me do that. I'm just setting up another example here. One of the other stipulations, you cannot remove a cube from the base of the pyramid, this red portion, that will permanently reveal that base. So you can see I cannot take that because there's no cubes to fall down and relieve it. This cube, however, I may take because it can fall down and it did not permanently reveal the base. The other thing kind of notion here is when I mentioned orthogonally, it would appear from this angle that I would not be able to remove this onk. However, it is not directly orthogonal to that, touching the cobra cube, so I in fact can take it. Again, the game ends when all of the cubes are taken. I will note that you can take the cobra cubes, although they are 0 points. Sometimes it is advantageous to take them, but in this sort of situation, if it was my turn, I would actually be required to take this cobra because it is the only one that I can take, seeing that all the other ones would reveal the base permanently, and this cobra is touching these 3 cubes, so I cannot remove any of those 3, so I would have to remove the cobra on my turn. Now the really interesting part comes, because whoever has the most onks in a given color obtains all of that color on the base of the pyramid. First here we have an example of where we have a cobra on the base of the pyramid, and all the cubes surrounding the cobra's space and the cobra itself are removed from play. Okay, now we would actually go back and you would look at how many onks do I have in the particular colors, and how many onks do the other players have in the particular colors. I'll just kind of pull some together here. So let's say that one player has 3 green, 1 of each of the other colors. The other player has 3 blue, 1 of purple and green, and 2 orange. Whoever has the majority of the onks in that given color get to remove all the cubes. So this player would get the blue onks that remain in the pyramid, which for this game resulted in a total of 5 additional points, an onk and 2 cranes. For the purple cubes, they each have 1, it's a tie, and no one would get the purple cubes from the center, and you could remove them from play. Looks like someone missed out on a good amount of points with an eye and a good chunk of the onks. Okay, this player has the most green onks, and so they would get the green eye and the 2 onks, resulting in 5 points as well. And the orange onks, it looks like this player had the majority, and so they would get that. At the end of the game, you simply add up the points that you have, and the winner is the one with the most points. I really enjoy this game. At first, it may seem very juvenile or very simple of, well, I'm just going to take the cube that's visible worth the most points. But the onks and trying to determine what is going to be remaining in the base, do I remove cubes to let the cobra drop in the base here when I see an opponent has a majority orange and there's an orange eye here? If I let that cobra drop here, it's going to be removed from the base of the pyramid and they won't get the points for it. Anyway, there's a lot of strategy and depth to it, and yet it's very simple enough that young kids can play this game quite well as they're trying, they know they're trying to get these points, but there's that deeper layer of strategy, and there may be even reasons, why I said you may want to remove a cobra, and there's just a lot really to it. I really enjoy it. It's quick gameplay, quick setup. The rules are simple, but I love that deep strategy. 2-player games. Me and my wife have played quite a bit already. I really enjoy it, and playing it with 4 players is also fun. I will say, with any of these kind of turn games where the board changes or things change as the game progresses, it's definitely a little more strategic with 2, I think, in the regard that you can kind of plan your moves and you know that they have 1 move and you have 1 move. Whereas you're playing with 3 more players, it adds a little more variability to it each time, and you kind of have to play the board as it is and try to think more moves ahead. But it's still really fun. So this is Pyramix by Gamewright.